Good morning and welcome to today's show. Now, this is kind of a special show for me because it's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I've just been putting it off because I've just been too busy. But I finally gone and done it, and I'm launching my podcast today. Well, it actually kind of launched last night. Well, that's when I first uploaded my first episode. But why have I decided to launch a podcast? Well, I've now been creating videos now since around September last year, and I'm now trying to become more consistent with that so that I have 2 live shows every week and upload at least one pre-recorded video as well, which sometimes doesn't always get out, but that's the schedule that I'm trying to stick to. And that's what I've now committed to doing. But I'm creating all this video content anyway, and I have this whole setup already, you know, to do all the videos. And what some people don't realize is that you can use the same setup to do your podcast. I already have the mic. I don't need the camera. I just need the mic and have good audio. So I already have that. So to create the podcast was a bit of a no-brainer, but I just needed that extra push to actually get it done. And I finally did get that push in the last few weeks. I've been part of a great online community called the Creators Guild, which kind of started in beginning of February, and it's just growing every month. And everyone in there supports everyone, and one of the content creators also just decided, you know, he's creating all this online content already, let me do a podcast. And then that just gave me the inspiration and that last little push to actually get this podcast done. So I do thank Scott Allison from the Creators Guild for giving me that extra push, and the Creators Guild as well. And if it is something that you're looking to do and need that extra support, and you are creating content already, especially if you're looking to do online video, so live video, pre-recorded video and podcasts, then this community is going to be there to help support you in your endeavors. And if you do want to join it, then please go to creatorsguild.app and you'll be able to join the community there. And my first episode actually goes into why I created the podcast. Now, there are so many different podcast platforms out there that you can use to host your podcast. There's Podbean, there's Buzzsprout, Blueberry, Transistor, Smartcast, podcast player. There's just so many out there, but the one that I chose was Anchor. So if you just go to anchor.fm, it was bought out by Spotify. So as soon as you upload your episodes to the platform, it already goes into Spotify. So my first episode's already on Spotify, and it's now syndicating that episode to all the other big players out there, Apple Podcasts, Google, all of that as well. So that takes a little bit of time to propagate and get listed there, but as soon as it is, you'll be able to find me on those platforms as well. So the podcast is called Coffee with Jason, which is a kind of an extension to this show, my Friday live stream, because I am going to be using some of the content that I create on this show to actually create the podcast as well. So it does mean that some of the content on my Friday show will appear in the podcast at some stage, but I will be also creating brand new content just for the podcast as well. You know, if I'm standing in the studio, all I need to do is talk, right? So I may as well do that and create the extra content. But it does mean that I don't always have to create the content in my studio. I did a review not so long ago with the Fifine microphone, which plugs directly into my Apple iPhone. So if you haven't seen that video, then please go and actually have a look at that video, and you'll see how I've connected it all together. But I did some tests on it, and the audio quality is great. So it does mean that I could just use that fine microphone connected to my Apple iPhone, and as long as I'm in a relatively quiet space with not too much echo, I could record my podcast anywhere. And that's what I'm going to envisage doing as well. So there will be some podcasts kind of done on the road. So I'm quite excited about that. But again, why did I choose Anchor to host my podcast? Because one, the Creators Guild, a lot of them were using it, and the actual head creator, the Impartial Geek, David Foster, it's what he used to create his podcast. I had a look at it, and it is just so simple to do. So I recorded my first episode, created the graphics, etc., uploaded it to Anchor, chose my URL, and it was done. Now, I know some people think creating a podcast is, it is daunting, because again, you're getting content out there that could be criticized. And I know that some people, including myself, have that kind of imposter syndrome, and not all the, you're not too sure about how your content is going to be received, and you don't want to be criticized for it either. Unfortunately, it does come with the territory. So, it's something that you do have to kind of get over and just get the content out there. There are going to be far more people out there that are going to love your content that are going to hate it. But creating a podcast, creating online video especially, can be very daunting. But my advice is just go out and do it. You don't need expensive equipment. Now you see all these big podcasters out there, and they've got probably thousands of pounds worth of equipment to create their podcast, and you don't need that. As I said, I've got my iPhone, I've downloaded an app on it to record audio, and I'm connecting a USB mic to it. That USB mic cost me £40. The little connector to connect it to my phone cost me £10. So for under £50, you could just go and use your iPhone to record your content, and you'll find other apps on there to record the audio on your iPhone, but also edit it as well, so that you could go and just do everything on your phone. Don't need any of this other expensive equipment. Maybe down the road, yes, you want to upgrade certain parts of your equipment, and yes, you can do that. But if you're just starting out, you don't really need to go and buy all this other expensive equipment. Buy a USB microphone. You could even just plug that into your laptop and record it on your laptop. There's free software for that as well. Audacity it has been a very popular program, to record audio. So you can just use that and then just get started. Now with Anchor, they do have the option where you can actually use music from their library to put into your podcast, and you can actually use their platform to edit it, add the music, add a few other bits and pieces to it. But one thing that you've got to just bear in mind, that if you are looking to syndicate your podcast to all these other major players like Apple Podcasts, Google, etc., you might not be able to get your podcast on those services if you're using songs from Spotify. And the reason for that is a lot of that music is going to be copyrighted. It's albums of artists, and as long as you're using it just on Spotify, then yes, you can use it in your podcast. But if you are looking for your podcast to go out there, then you might need to look at other systems, other services for music for your podcast. Now the one that I use is called Epidemic Sounds, and you can use their music on your YouTube channel, Facebook, and your podcast, and you won't get any kind of copyrighted claims against it, which is great. They create all their own music, which you can then use. It is a subscription service. I think it's around $10-15 a month, but it is worth it if you are looking to create a lot of video or a lot of audio content as well using music. music always adds that extra bit to your show. So it is something that you should look at doing, but just a word of warning, if you are looking to use Spotify and use their music, that you shouldn't then look to syndicate your podcast to the other services as well, because it probably won't be allowed. Now, if you do want to have a look at my podcast, then here it is. It's on anchor.fm/Jason K. Kruger. And as you can see, this is the platform or the page that they give you. So you can add in your own graphics here. And you can message me directly through the platform as well. It has my links to all my other social media accounts and my website. It gives you the option to listen to it on Spotify as well. And as you can see, there's my first episode, an introduction to Coffee with Jason. Now, what I wanted to also go through today was show you how easy it is to upload an episode to Anchor as well. I do have a second episode ready to upload, and it's my interview that I did with Bryn from Blue Bear Coffee, where we go into how he started Blue Bear Coffee, why he started it. I did that interview live a couple of weeks ago, and that's now going to be my second episode on the podcast. Now, what do I envisage this podcast to be? Well, it's all in the first episode, but I will be doing the kind of online marketing tips and strategies and all that as included in the podcast, as well as interviewing heart-centered businesses, because a lot of people ask me, what is a heart-centered businesses? You know, that's what I always say that I do. You know, I help heart-centered businesses build and automate their online marketing systems. So people were asking me, what are heart-centered businesses? So I'm looking to interview clients and other heart-centered businesses that, you know, fall into that category. And, you know, all my clients are heart-centered businesses. They're out there with a mission to help people, be it with PR, baking cakes, whatever it is. They're there to help people achieve their own mission. So please have a listen to that first episode, because I go into a little bit more detail what it's all going to be about. But like I said, I'm going to show you how I upload content to Anchor. So if it is something that you're looking to do and you are looking to create a podcast, then my recommendation is to use Anchor. It is so simple to use, and it will just syndicate all your episodes to the other platforms as well. So let's go back to my PC and let's have a look. So as I said, this is my main page, and let's go into the back end. So this is the back end of Anchor, of your account, and I'm just going to click on new episode. Now, as you'll see from this menu, I could just go and record my podcast directly through the website. So you don't, like I said, you don't need expensive equipment to do this. All you need is a good quality microphone, and you can get one for £40 and use that to record your podcast. And as you can see down here from the right hand side here, this is where you start building out your podcast. So you could add music to it, any other kind of music transitions between sections of your podcast. You can do it all in here, and then click on save, and then it builds out your episode for you. But because I already have a podcast already recorded, I don't need to use any of this, but I could. So let me just find the file that we want, which is this one here. And now that's just uploading, and it will then process on the site as well. While that's doing that, we can see if I click on the library here, This is anything that I've already uploaded. So you can see I've uploaded episode 1 already. So that's in my library. If you go to music, I can then add songs from Spotify. Voice messages. Now, if people share voice messages with you, so let's go back to the front page. If people share messages through the website, you could use those on your podcasts as well. So you can add those to your episode. And then you have the transitions where you have different little sound effects, etc., which you can add to your episode. So at the moment you can see it's still processing this episode. It takes a little bit longer because this is a longer episode. My first podcast is only around 10 or 12 minutes. I wanted to keep that one short because I just wanted to explain what the podcast was all about. But then as the podcast progresses, then the episodes will get longer. This one is 1 hour and 6 minutes because it is an interview. And if you do want to be interviewed for the podcast, and then please just get in contact with me and we can arrange a time to do the interview if we don't do it live. I normally do them live on a Friday morning in this time slot. So if you do want to be interviewed for the podcast, just let me know and we can arrange that. But if there are any other online marketing issues or tips that you would like, then again, please get in contact with me and I can make sure that then I either cover it either on my Wednesday show if it's more of a technical issue, and I'll go into more details on that Wednesday show because that is more the technical show. So I will go into, if it's something to do with websites, I will go in and actually show you which settings, etc., that need to be changed. And this Friday show is more going to be the kind of strategies, the tips, and just general discussion. So if that's something that you would like, then please look to subscribe to the YouTube channel and you'll get notified when I next go live or when I next upload a video. And if you're watching this on Facebook, then like the page as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. So let's go back to Anchor. So as you can see now, it has been processed. Now all I'm going to do now is click on save the episode. Now I already have the description. Well, no, it didn't do that. So let me just get the description again. So that's just the description for this episode. And what are we going to call it? Now, as you can see on this one, I have had a bit of a naming convention where I've put the episode number in the front. So we're going to keep that. And we're going to call this EP2 and then interview with Bryn Blue Bear Coffee Co. Now, I could then just schedule this and say I wanted to publish on a certain date and time, but I'm going to publish this one now. And if you are creating kind of seasons for your podcasts, then you could just go in here and give it a season number, an episode number, and then again, depending on what type of episode it's going to be. Is it the full episode? Is it just a trailer, or is it a bonus one? You can set that, or here you can then also set your content. Is it clean or is it explicit? So you can do all of that, as well as customize your art for that specific episode. So you could use different graphics for each episode if you want to. I'm just going to keep it the same. So I'm just going to go to the top here, make sure that everything is correct. Looks fine to me. And then I'm just going to say publish now. Now it's published. It gives me the link so I could go and share this all over social media to get people to come and listen to it. So there we go. my second episode has now been published. So if we go back to the front and refresh that, there we go. Episode 2 is now live. So if you do want to go and listen to that, then all you need to do is go to anchor.fm/Jason K. Kruger, and you'll be taken to that site to listen to that podcast. And if you've got any questions regarding that, then just please let me know as well. Leave a comment below this video, and I will make sure that I answer it for you. At the moment, I've got no analytics on it. It's just been published. So that's that. We could go back and edit this if we wanted to. But that is just how you create your podcast. Now, again, with Anchor, you do have an app on your phone, which means that you could just record your podcast directly to your phone and upload it to Anchor through the phone as well. So it does make it very versatile, and it doesn't give you any excuses now to get your next podcast episode out. And I will definitely make sure that I have a proper schedule to get my podcasts episodes out in a timely manner as well. But if you do have any questions about starting your own podcast, then please do let me know, and I will make sure that I answer those for you. And I might even create more videos on my YouTube channel regarding podcasts and how to create them, etc., so that you can go and create your own. But my recommendation, just use anchor.fm. It is so easy to use. It's free. All these the other platforms that I mentioned earlier, a lot of them are free. Some of them, there is a cost to them. They also propagate your episodes to the other platforms as well. But, you know, at the end of the day, you choose which one you want to use, which one you feel more comfortable in using. I found Anchor very easy to use, and I'm a tech guy, but I also want to make sure that anything that I recommend to my clients, I've used myself. I know the process so that I can explain it to them, but I also want to make it simple. You know, if things are too complicated, people are not going to use them. And then it just sits there. And that doesn't just mean podcast software. It means anything else to do with online marketing. You know, websites, membership sites, creating landing pages, autoresponder, setting up your email sequences. There's a lot of moving parts out there, and people do get stuck at certain points, or they just don't have the time to learn it all. Because unfortunately, it is a skill that you need to learn to do, especially if you're on your own. And sometimes it can be quite daunting. And if it is something that you need help with, I do have a free membership where I upload all my videos to that I create on YouTube, Facebook, etc. There will be other exclusive contents on there as well. But what my free membership site does as well is it transcribes all my videos. Now, you might think, well, why would that be important? Well, the reason for it is that if you do search for something on YouTube, all it does is it searches for anything in the title, maybe in the description. So if there's a specific term that you're looking for, if it hasn't been put in the title or in the description, sometimes you might find it hard to find. And if you do find it, you then might have to listen to a 30-minute video to find the 2-minute clip that you need to help you with your issue. Well, on my free membership site, it's built on a platform called Searchy. And as I said, it transcribes all my videos that I upload to it. And why that is important is because you can search for any term, and it will look for that term in the title, but it will also look through the video itself. And that's where the transcription comes in. Because it's transcribed, it can search for the content within that video. And once it's found it, it will display those results for you. And when you click on it, it will take you to that exact space, that exact time in that video. So no more scrubbing through videos trying to find exactly what you're looking for. It will take you to the right place. And if that is something that interests you, then please go to jasonkruger.com/free and sign up to that free membership. And as I said, I'm creating content every week, so that library is just growing and growing every week by at least 1-2 videos. So it's not going to be sitting still. It's just going to keep growing. And if there is a topic in there that you need help with and it's not currently in there, then all you need to do is submit a request on that site, and I will make sure that I get that covered for you as well. So I've launched my new podcast. I'm quite happy about it, and I hope that you will find it useful. It's different to video because you can listen to it anywhere, in the car, just walking around. You don't need to always watch video. So I'm hoping that it will be something that appeals to you, and just let me know in the comments. That would be greatly appreciated. So again, if you want to go and listen to that podcast, then please go to anchor.fm/Jason K. Kruger, and you will see the episodes in there. And that new episode has just been launched now as well. So please go and take some time and have a listen to it. Now, online tech can be daunting, but I do want to make sure that people don't get stuck and they can just carry on and do things that they are happy doing and that they are experts in. And as I said, if you do need any of that help, then go check out the free membership site at jasonkruger.com/free. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and just remember, you can do it. Sometimes you just need a little help. I'll see you on the next one.